Welcome back, comic lovers, back for another episode. This man here, your host, is a huge Mark Bagley fan. He has said if you were to ask him his dream destination around the world, his first stop would be the land of the rising sun, Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Mount Vernon Kid. What's up, guys? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome back to another edition of the Kids Comic Review. And first of all, once again, announcer dude, very good stuff. Glad you liked it, kid. Glad, dude. Yes, you should know that very well. But once again, thank you very much. My pleasure, kid, and thank you once again. Anytime. But before we start, guys, and apologize, announcer guy, you've been doing this gig for not too long, but for the short time you've been doing it, I don't know your name. What's your name? What do I call you? My name? Would you really like to know my name, kid? Yeah, I really would like to know. You may call me Orpheus. Okay, alright. So, everybody, the mysterious announcer guy, his name is Orpheus. Cool. Very cool. Alright, so let's get to the comic show. So I have a lot to dabble in for you guys. We got a few from Marvel, 3 from Independent, and we'll end it on DC. Alright. Now, with further ado, I do mine alphabetical order. Pretty much, let's basically kick this show off with none other than Avengers vs. X-Men round 11. Bendis takes the realm on this issue, and you got Oliver Coipel, another one of my favorite artists, who's the artwork is great. Oh boy, this is gearing up for some very hard conclusion. We have Cyclops and Emma talking, and Emma for all those who like Emma, that's your business. Cool, no problem. My opinion, she's a fucking bitch. Okay, let's put it like that. I don't like her. I like her as a villain, but not as a hero. She doesn't come off as a hero to me. And in this book, we see just how superiorly the bitch really is. We also get a segue of Captain America talking to somebody in the desert. He's talking to somebody on like a cliff or so, and he's saying, look, I wouldn't come to you if I didn't need your help, though we respect each other, things like that, but we need your help. And they don't show who it is at first. And there's like, and if I give any more clues away, you'll know who it is. Then they show the panel, and I was like, whoa, okay. But it was really interesting to see that. And Oliver Capelli, the way he drew him just made him look really immense and intense. I was like, yeah. And it just gets to the point where everybody is, gathering, getting ready for this confrontation between the last 2 members of the Phoenix Five. Now, before I get into that, Hope, I'm starting to realize that Hope and the Scarlet Witch, 2 people who are supposed to be like key elements of this story arc, are kind of fading into the background. That's something that Sickrick Joseph brought up. Another good friend of mine, Zach the Thunder King, wanted me to. He asked me, how do I feel about whose side am I more on now? I think in part of both sides, Zach. both the Avengers and the X-Men are point to blame on this. This is the Phoenix. The X-Men have a huge history with it. They should have known better. Scott should have known better. And the Avengers could have went around this a little bit more, you know, decency. But yeah, they are both to blame in this. There is a death in this scene. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but a moment of silence for that character, because that character's been around since 1963 or so. I could be wrong, but yeah, moment of silence, please. Yes, but what I will say is he did go out like a trooper. He went out swinging, and that was great to see. But we know that it's going to be some major ramifications, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. But all in all, this was really good. But I also want to bring up another thing that Sick Rick and I talked about before. Was like Havoc should have a real major say in this book, because whose brother is this? That's his brother. So he should really be like one of the major key elements into this as well. But he hasn't. They've shown him in the book, but that's it. And but other than that, it was still good, and it ends on like a cliffhanger, like, oh my god, how's this gonna end? But the death scene, Marvel said there wasn't gonna be a death scene, but it kept edging and edging up to, yeah, there was gonna be a death scene. But other than that, Avengers uh, versus X-Men round 11 was not bad. All right, so we move on to Captain America number 11. Ed Brubaker and Cullen Bunn still co-write this. Scott Eaton is the artist on this. Scott Eaton's artwork is pretty good. Um, so Steve is still dealing with the situation of the Discordians. As you can see, Baron Zemo tackling Sharon Carter in outer space. That does happen. Um, the Hydra and the they're just really making Captain America's life a living hell, and they're broadcasting this broadcast that is kind of weaning the people. We've seen this before, but they're weaning the people to realize that maybe Captain America is not the all-American boy that he is. He's about helping and everything like that. Things like that, and that's how they're trying to wean him. Codename Bravo and everybody like that is doing, but they realize that the broadcast is being broadcast in outer space. They need to get up there. So Sharon and Dum Dum Dugan and all of them go up there to help. And Sharon gets into a pretty decent fight with Baron Zemo, and she holds her own pretty well with Baron Zemo. I'm not gonna lie about that. She cuts a Star Wars reference on Baron Zemo, which is really funny, and he was like, "I can't believe you cut a Star Wars promo quote on me." And things like that, because they had a sword fight and things like that. But it was still good. You could still see this is more of Brubaker's writing. Cullen Bunn, May is in there, but he's not as influenced. It's more of Brubaker's influence, but still very intense. I'm wondering how it's going to end, and how the people are going to look at Captain America once again. All right, so we move on to Fantastic Four number 610, weaning down to Hickman's final send-off. This story, Ryan Segman is the artist on this. This story deals with the Wizard, and he's just becoming more and more unstable. And the president is talking about this and everything like that, and you see Hank Pym, Reed Richards, Captain America, Tony Stark, and people like that with the president, and Captain America's like, "Sir, send Avengers in, we'll take them down," everything like that, and Reed Richards is like, "No, let me go in." So the president's like, "Okay, you go in." Spider-Man goes on her own, but I didn't think Spidey needed to be in this book at all. And but like my mentor said, he was just really there for laughs. It's just really just there. But it was intense just to see how crazy the wizard has gotten. Um, and that's pretty much it. You know, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't overly. It wasn't, oh yeah, but it was good. Um, but the next part picks up in Future Foundation. But I have dropped Future Foundation a long time ago. So once again, I'm calling out to my viewers who read Future Foundation for give me a synopsis, you know, in a personal message of what went on in Future Foundation to end this, so I'll understand what's going on. But other than that, Fantastic Four number 6, 10. It's gonna be hard to say goodbye to Jonathan Hickman. And if the question, guys, you're asking yourself is, hey kid, are you gonna be picking up when Fantastic Four gets relaunched and things like that with Fraction? The answer is no, I'm not. Um, I'm not. I can't trust Fraction with Fantastic Four. Not at all. I can't trust him with that. And besides, he's coming off somebody who just took the Fantastic Four from here to here, and I can't deal with that. No, sorry. All right. Journey into Mystery 643. This is part 3 of Everything Burns. Gillian, Fraction, they're all on this book. Bottom line is everything's going to hell. Surtur his army is everywhere. Volstagg is actually king of Asgardian now, which is really crazy. And it's just getting dire. Loki is just like all over the place. He's just like, oh, what do I do? I don't know what I'm doing. How do I stop this? What should I stop this? Yada, he's just getting into, and Thor is like, just looking at him, okay, you're my brother. I got, I'm just kind of speechless. And it just gets really, really crazy for Loki. And it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, which I don't want to spoil, but it just shows like, Loki, you bastard. Like, no matter what your size is, you will always be that mischievous bastard that you can't trust. Alright. Yeah, this one I really wanted to talk about, guys. New Avengers, number 30. Nice cover with Luke, Danny, and Matt on the cover. Like that cover. This story picks up right after Avengers round 11. So it's Luke, Matt, Daredevil, Thing, and Bobby, Mockingbird, transporting Emma Frost, who is in handcuffs, to the local authorities now. Like and Luke and Matt are talking, and Luke's like, I never really got to ask you, Matt, Daredevil. So how does it feel to be an Avenger? And he's like, is it always this crazy? Like, man, this is wild. Like, and then we started to get into a major conversation between Daredevil and Luke Cage, and he's like, Matt says, did you call Jessica and see how they're doing? And he just downs his head like, yeah, they're okay. And it just really gets into this talk about Luke raising his daughter Danielle in this kind of world, and it really gets intense. And all of a sudden, boom, their car is hit by a bunch of mutant hating extremists, and they come to kill Emma Frost. Now Emma is captured. Now her powers are dampened, so she can't read their minds or anything like that. And it's Luke, Daredevil, Mockingbird, and Thing handling this group of armor-powered, high-tech, mutant, fascist extremists coming after Emma. And they pretty much hold their own against it. It gets really intense. I love the scene where Emma tries to escape and Daredevil just throws his baton and go think, and it ricochets think, 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 and cracks her in the back of the head. And he's like, Miss Ross, you're still under arrest. And it was I was like, oh, that's great. But yeah, it gets really intense before uh, Luke and Thing and all of them take down these fascists. The police come, and some of the other Avengers like um, uh, Iron Man and Thor. It was really funny because throughout this whole book, they all kept saying, "Can't we get a break? Like, can't we have a normal day once?" And it's like, yeah, right. Um, and then all of a sudden, a police officer comes up to Luke, and he says, he's like, hey, Luke Cage, I remember you maybe not remember me, but I used to work. I was a cop in New York before, because they were there in San Francisco, and he's like, I used to be a cop there, and you saved my life and everything. And then Luke's like, oh yeah, okay, that's nice to meet you. He's like, hey, you got a phone? And he's like, yeah, can I borrow it? He's like, yeah. Calls up Jessica Jones, his wife. He's like, babe, hey, yeah, it's me. Listen, I'm on my way home for good. I'm done. It's over. And Iron Man looks at Daredevil. He's like, what just happened? Hey, what's going on? You see Luke leaving? And Daredevil just says he's quitting the team. And I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, oh, Luke, don't quit. But then I realized that maybe it's for the best, because look, Luke is raising a daughter. And yeah, Luke is pretty much indestructible and everything like that, but still, he's got a daughter, and he's thinking about his kid and his wife, so I understand that. But I doubt if Luke is going to stay off the team for good when they relaunch it or not. Um, I can't see the new Avengers without Luke Cage at all on this team. I'm sorry. Um, Something's going to happen that's going to probably bring Luke on back on the team. But yeah, that was really intense. Like, he's like, I'm done. I quit. Man, but that was a good issue right there. Just really gave you more of a key moment of Luke Cage and thinking, like, the man called Cage really, he's not just thinking about himself anymore. He has to think now he's got a family to think about. It was good stuff. I enjoyed that. All right, so moving on. Scarlet Spider, number 9. As my mentor Blue Goblin just said, this has just been one hell of a blast. It's just been fun, just extremely fun to read. Kane just comes off like, oh God, like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to kill Peter Parker. This damn responsibility. Oh my God. It's just really funny. He's dealing with the Rangers, the superhero team that occupies the southwest of the Marvel Universe. They were part of the initiative, the Avengers initiative. And you got the Texas Twister, Flamebird, Living Lightning, this alien creature and things like that, and they're dealing with this electrical monster that Rhinox, I'm forgetting the company name, had underneath their site, and it just gets really intense there. Just showcases, like, Kane just is like, look, we're gonna do this, but look, I don't want to be here. Like, just over and over. I love when he cracks on Texas Twister. I'm always forgetting his name. He's like, what a stupid name. It's so funny. Um, and afterwards, it's really funny because they're talking to each other, and he's like, look, we're all the Southwest got, and you're now a part of the Rangers. And Kane just goes bam, just punches Texas Twister, and he's like, if you think I'm gonna join you, you're out of your damn mind. I ran away from this to get away from all this. And then he just says, okay, but these people are now your responsibility. It's, if something happens to them, it's on your hand. And he's like, responsibility, almost like, there's that word again. Damn, I'm gonna kill Peter Parker. That joke was so funny. Um, So I am looking forward to this Minimum Carnage that's coming out between Eddie and Kane and Carnage. So that should be really intense. But yeah, Scarlet Spider has just been really fun. Yosh has just been telling really good stories. Really fun. Very fun indeed. Alright, next up we have Winter Soldier number 10. Ed Brubaker. Mr. Brubaker just kills it. He kills it every issue on this. This is just gritty espionage at the core. And as we know, one of the sleeper agents that Bucky trained when he was the Winter Soldier came out of his capsule earlier than expected, and he knows that the Winter Soldier is Bucky, and he knows he's still alive and everything, and he's causing Bucky a lot of hell. The last thing he did was capture Black Widow, Bucky's longtime girlfriend, and brainwashed her, reprogrammed her back to when she was the Black Widow, when she was the ballerina. You got to read her backstory when she was the old Black Widow. And we get in the last issue, we thought that Bucky freed her from her brainwashing, but wrong. There was a like another, like back window to reactivate her in a sense, and it happens right when Nick Fury comes in. It was almost like Nick Fury was the activation code to reactivate her programming in a sense, and she goes on a rampage. She nearly kills Nick Fury in this issue. He survives. He doesn't die. And now it's just a race to get Widow back from Novakovic. Um, and Bucky, Captain America comes and he's like, well, soldier, everything like that. And he's like, I was wondering when you were going to get involved, when you were going to come in. He's like, hey, when Nick Fury gets shot, I'm the first one to call, and I'm here. And he's like, Bucky, but you're not going to be alone on this. And we see Hawkeye and Wolverine. Now, both individuals have history with Black Widow. So it's kind of funny because Hawkeye, remember, everybody still thinks Bucky's dead. But when Hawkeye sees, he's like, oh my, so it is true, you are alive. And everything like that. And Wolverine's like, he's like, I knew your coffin smelled like a LMD, a life model decoy, and he's like, thanks for being here, Logan. He's like, well, kid, I'm not really here for you. It's for Natasha, because they have history. So it's a race against time to get Widow back before everything just starts coming out, and this was really intense. You really get to see the love that Bucky has for Widow and what he'll do to get her back. Widow, we all know Widow can handle herself in a fight. She doesn't really need a knight in shining armor, but in this issue she kind of does, because she's brainwashed, and the Novakovic is just using her to mess with Bucky, but it was still good. All right, next up, Wolverine The X-Men number 16. Aaron's Chris Baccio is back on the artwork. Granted, guys, you know me, I'm not a big Chris Baccio fan. I really don't like his artwork. But this is just all about the new Hellfire Club, the kids. Oh my fucking god. These kids are crazy. They're sadistic, masochist, crazy. We get an in-depth look at what makes these kids tick and what their backstory is, and it just is unbelievable. They almost make people like the Joker and Harley Quinn and people like that look sane. These kids are nuts. And it was even shown even more when they are face to face with the Phoenix Five. And Cyclops is just like, you're the new Hellfire Club? What are you? 12. Like, he couldn't believe it. Emma is like, Scott, these kids are monsters. Like, she's reading their thoughts. Their thoughts, especially that girl right there, this one right here, the girl. She's like, the girl has the most devious thoughts ever. And we get to see that, um, I'm forgetting his name right now. Uh, he just, he is just a manipulative little son of a bitch. I'm telling you right now. He when they go into Rikers Island jail, Rikers Island, he literally plays the whole. He's like, okay, I'll pay anybody $500 for to beat up this guy and everything. I'll pay you another 500, another cool meal if you break this and you do this. And they just, and he's like, and oh yeah, that also goes to the guards too. And I'm just like, oh my god, this kid is crazy. These kids are crazy. It ends with what I don't want to spoil because it is a two-parter, but I had my doubts about kids being the new Hellfire Club, but now looking at these kids now, I'm like, they got quite an edge because now it's come to the point where, gotta remember, they're still kids. No matter how sadistic and crazy they are, they're kids. And what's the code of the X-Men? They don't kill. And I can't see anyone killing them, but I can see one of them giving them a good trip to the woodshed, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Aaron's just really still killing it on this book. Fantastic job, Mr. Aarons. I'm loving it. Keep up the good work. Good stuff. All right, and the last Marvel book, X-Men Legacy number 273. Christoph Gage. This book was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright. This is the conclusion of the story of Rogue on the alien dimension and everything like that. The bottom line, guys, is, I'm going to wrap this up really quick. The bottom line is Rogue helps the two warring tribes, the Hive and the Vajansk, I'm forgetting the other cat-like group, to realize that both of their leaders were playing them. Pretty much like that. And both factions realize, okay, we're wrong. Okay, let's stop this, but we may still have conflict. Things like that. They send Rogue back to her dimension. That's it. I'm sorry. That's about it. It wasn't really, but I did love where Rogue talked about Kurt. She was like, when she was fighting with the sword, she was like, this is something my half brother Kurt taught me and everything like that. He was a good man, and I was like, good old Kurt. Nightcrawler. We all know. So that's all in Marvel. Pretty decent stuff. All right, so let's move on to the independent. 3 independent, 2 from Dynamite and 1 from Valiant. All right, so we'll kick it off with the Bionic Woman number 4. Peter Tobin is still doing a fantastic job with Jamie Sommers, the Bionic Woman. She's still on the trail of the mission, and realized that the mission has sent out some of their hired guns to stop her, in the form of one called Breaker and the other one called, I forgot the name. And right when, remember I told you in the last issue, she found the man that knew would work to the mission, and right when she's about to tell her about it, they shoot him, they snipe him, and he's dead. So now she has to now go on the offense. First taking out their hired guns, then going after the rest of the faction. But not, also she gets a little help from Steve Austin, the Bionic Man. And he makes a cameo in this, and it was really cool. But other than that, it's just a matter of just stopping these the muscle of the mission, the 2 hitmen. And Jamie takes it to him pretty well, which she sets them up pretty lovely. It was almost like a chess game how she set them up. She was like queen to rook 7, and it was like, oh man, she got them really good. But yeah, other than that, Bionic Woman has still been very good. I've still been enjoying it. And Paul Tobin, keep up the good work. So, all right, and we move on to a new creative team, a new story arc for Green Hornet number 28. This is just setting up for a new destructive force coming into Century City, while Brit and Mulan look for Mulan's father, the original Kato, and he's somewhere in a small town in, I believe, Idaho or so. And because somebody asked for his help, so he went out there to help. And this woman tells him that this guy is his son, and he's like, "You're not my son," like, things like that. This guy's a little bit overweight. He's kind of a couch potato, everything like that. And that's all pretty much this is all about. We get to see what's going on and where Brit and Mulan, they go off to this small town in Idaho. I believe it's Idaho, to pretty much look for the original Kato and things like that. But and then you also get to see like this new corrupt villain or so coming into Central City. He's from another country, but he's left a path of destruction in Eastern Europe where he's been. But other than that, yeah, not bad for the first issue. It's just a building up. It's just really setting up for something pretty good. That's all. Still kind of funny though. It was all right. So we move on to Valiant and XMen Man of War issue 5. Enter Ninjak. As you all know, Eric, he's from the year 402 AD. And as you know, he was kidnapped by this alien group called the Vine. They imprisoned him. They kept him as a slave. And he finds this artifact, the Exo Man of War armor. He puts it on. He escapes. And he travels 16,000 years into the future. And now he's in 2012 Earth. So that's where we pick up. Now he's there. He flies off, and he lands in a small Italian village city, and he's just looking around, and he can see the suit is showing him all like what's under this plain. Like he's in this grassy plain field, and he finds like artifacts of swords of his, dead bodies, and this little girl comes up to him, and he says, "May I ask you a question, little one?" And she's like, "Sure. Well, what? If I know it, I'll ask you." And he's like, "What year is it?" "Oh, everybody knows that, silly. 2012. And he's just like, "I can't believe it." Like he can't believe it. But what we find out also is the Vine, the alien race, have been living on Earth in secrecy for the past century, since the 5th century. They know that the armor's here, and now they send out, you know, they like the Vine is in all types of the government, like MI6, things like that, the CIA. They're everywhere. And Eric, he's just trying to figure out. He flies off once the army comes, and he's like, "Look, I have no fight with you." He flies off again, and he flies off again. He lands in the Peruvian rainforest. He's in rainforest, and he's just there, just trying to get like, okay, I got to get my head straight. He takes off the armor. When he takes off the armor, let me show you what happens when he takes the armor off. Let me show you what the armor looks like when it comes off. Here he is. When he takes the armor off, as you can see, it turns into like this ball, of that ball that you see at the bottom panel. And you just see him there just shaving off his beard and things like that with an old relic sword of his clan, his people. And then he's thinking about his wife and things like that. And he realizes that everybody I know is dead. I have nothing. And the Vine hire this man called Ninjak, this ninja for hire, to bring in the artifact. And that's where we enter Ninjak, and he pretty much, because Eric kills the special tactics group that Divine sent in before. Alec just takes it to these guys. They threw a grenade at him. Eric picks up the grenade, punches the guy, puts the grenade into the guy's stomach, and it blows up. I was like, oh my god. But when he goes against Ninjak, uh, Ninjak's a little bit smarter, and he takes Eric out before the fight even gets started. He poisons him, and it kind of ends right there. Like, okay, what's next? Is Divine going to get the armor back, or are we going to get a real good fight between Ninjak and Eric? But other than that, this has just been really good. I've been loving what Valiant has, their reboot. Robert Vertinelli just does a very good job on this. I'm looking forward to the Shadow Man that Valiant's coming back out with. But yeah, just been really good stuff. The only two books I'm reading from Valiant is XMen and Bloodshot. Those are the only books I used to read when Valiant was back in the day. So yeah, good stuff. Just really good. Alright, so we'll end it off on the DC books. And I have 6 DCs for you. So let's kick it off with Batgirl 0. Gail Simone, another one of my favorite artists. Ed Benz. Okay, Gail Simone, my lady. Ed Benz, another one of my favorite artists. I call him the booty man because the guy knows how to draw booty very well. He does curvy girls very well. What do you expect? The guy's from Brazil, so he's got a lot of you know what I mean. This was a very good, interesting origin story for Babs. I thought it was very good. It wasn't like, you know what I mean, like, oh yeah, but it was still good. Um, we get to kind of see where Barbara gets, kind of, you see her going through all her trials and tribulations in terms of college. She's learning martial arts and everything. Like, she's always said, I've been different. And she's doing a paper for her school, a criminology class, and she's getting a tour around Gotham PD, and all of a sudden this guy called Nathan X, I believe that's his name. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. And he just causes a havoc. And they also talk about Batman. We see like a mock suit of Batman. Now, the Batman is like a myth. He's like the boogeyman. They keep saying he's not real, or people say he's real. The criminals are scared of this guy, and things like that. And Barbara is trying to keep her brother James really safe from this guy because he escapes and he comes after Barbara. And Barbara pretty much is like, oh, I got to do this. And so she puts on the costume and handles this guy pretty well. And of course, your Batman comes later on and he just like, did you do this? He's like, did you do it? He's like, yeah. He's like, he walks away, good work. And Barbara's like, he's real. He's real. He's actually real. And then that's where we get to see a little bit more of what happens later on. Barbara does change her costume. And like my mentor said, her costume looks more like All-Star Batgirl when she was in that. Just a mixture of old Batgirl, and, All-Star Batgirl. Um, and, yeah. And then, of course, it ends on you-know-who knocking on her door, and we all know what happens from there. But Gail Simone still does a very good job. Ed Beans, his artwork was superb in my opinion. But yeah. But if I was to do a pick out of the DC books, it hasn't come up yet. All right. Batman 0. Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. This is still telling kind of, the trials and tribulations of Bruce becoming the Batman. And it was good. Very good. I love the old school villain they brought back, the Red Hood. which was good. Bruce is going into his, his whole Master of Disguises, and he's gotten in league with the Red Hood, but the Red Hood finds out that, he is not who he says he is, things like that, and that's pretty much it, and him testing out some of his things. Then we fast forward to Barbara and her dad talking about showing her the bat signal, which was great, and then we get into some of the Robins, Dick, Tim, and Todd, Jason, and I have to admit they all looked almost the same. Like they almost looked the same age, and I was like, no. But it was really intense. I loved Tim's version because he got his principal fired because his principal was actually robbing the school that he was at, the academy, which was great. Jason, you just see Jason about to rob a grocery store, and this person gets killed, and then he flips out on his partner. Um, Tim is about to perform when Dick is about to perform as one of at the circus and everything like that. But yeah, it was still good, very good indeed. But yeah, not kudos to bringing the original Red Hood. That was cool. All right. Um, Next up, uh, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Part 2. Yeah, it's been a while. James Robinson, Philip Tan, Keith Griffin, they share the artwork on this. So now we're getting a little bit more incest of what is going on with one of my childhood heroes. It seems that Skeletor has gotten what he's got the power of the Grayscale. He has got complete power of Eternia, and he's wiped nearly everybody's memory gone. So Adam does not know who he is, and you see Beastman talking to Skeletor and Skeletor's like, how could you not kill him? And Beastman's like, he may have lost his memory, Lord Skeletor, but his body still acts like He-Man. So Adam is in the desert, and he gets caught by Trapjaw. Yeah, Trapjaw. And Trapjaw holds him hostage, to give the Skeletor and everything like that. And we get another classic ally in the name of Teela, and she helps him out and things like that. And it's funny in the fight, Adam's like, I don't use a sword. I'm a woodsman and things like that. I don't use a sword, and he's like, but I'm really good at it. Why am I so good at it with a sword and everything like that? And it gets really intense. I love the fight between Trapjaw and Adam was really good. Um, Teela just comes off like Adam, we need to talk and everything like that. And she doesn't know. She knows Adam, but she can't really remember either. But she does say something because Zodar lands on Adam's shoulder. He's like the Falcon, the sorceress, and she's like, Adam, there's something we got to talk about. And first of all, we got to talk about that Falcon. That Falcon is not what you think it is, and it ends right there. So yeah, it's getting intense. Now I'm understanding what's going on. Finally, Skeletor has gotten complete control of Castle Grayskull. What he's always been after, the power, and he's got it. And he's just really changed Eternia around. But it was still good. All right, now for my pick, my DC pick, Green Lantern Corps issue 0. Peter Tomasi, uh, Fernelio Pastorine, and this does a great retelling origin of Guy Gardner. Man, this was good. I was fairly impressed at this origin very much. If I was to say out of all the 0 issues I've read, out of the origins, who was the best as of right now? Guy Gardner has the best. This was intense. We get to see a little bit more in depth of the Gardner family, that his family comes from a whole line of police officers. And we get a little bit more in depth in the Guy was a cop at one point, but something happened, and his father is just, and him and his father don't have this good relationship at all. His brother and his sister are cops. His sister just graduated from police academy. Guy comes there, congratulates her and everything like that. And all of a sudden, he's at his dad's house and they just get into a big argument. Guys just like, you're still listening to you got a police monitor, you're still listening. And as far as like, I was a cop, that never dies. And all of a sudden, Guy hears his brother's, you know, whereabouts. I think it was his badge number or so over the police monitor, and Guy goes after him. And we see Guy's brother in a Gerard. That's his name. His brother's name is Gerard. In a firefight, and his partner is shot and dead, and his brother gets shot, and you literally see his brother pleading to this gang for his life, like, please don't kill me. Guy comes, gets his brother out of there, drives off. He even shoots his motorcycle that he was on to get away, and all of a sudden he's driving and he's holding his brother's hand. He's like, do whatever you do, Gerard, don't let go of my hand. Don't let go. And all of a sudden, boom, here comes the ring and everything like that. He gets the power, and at first, Guy's like, okay, Ring Guy. He's like, what can you do, Ring? And he's like, it's not what I can do, Lantern Gardener. It's what you can do with your imagination. He's like, okay, I wish we were in the I wish we were in the hospital to save my brother. And the ring just takes him, and he's like, okay, I'm impressed, and which is really intense. Um, but it was still very good, and we just then it flashbacks to where Guy is fighting this, this alien race that nearly kills him, things like that, and he gets his insignia from Kilowog, and then that's where we finally see, Guy finally changes his to his uniform, and Kilowog's like, the Guardians don't like us personalizing and things like that, and he's like, well, tough, and you see him change the usual Lantern uniform into this, and then he meets Hal Jordan, and they talk, and Kilowog pretty much gives him, he's like, I'll get you guys a drink on me. And but this was very, very good. I just gave you like a little bit of it. I didn't give you all of it, but this was good. I love this. I was like, an origin of Guy Gardner. Wonder how it's gonna go. But it was really, really good. I loved it. It was really fun to see Guy with long hair instead of his traditional kind of buzz cut. That was dope. That was really good. Grifter Zero. Yeah, Liefeld. He's leaving. I think this is his end of his issue. I think this was really confusing. I had to read this like 3 times to really understand it. That after Grifter left Team 7, the Daemonites got his hand. The Daemonites got their hands on Grifter a long time ago, before what happened now, and they kept him hostage in a program and things like that, and that's pretty much it. I'm sorry, that's pretty much, he gets saved, and other thing that that's about it. But yeah, I had to read this like 3 times to really get it. That's pretty much how it sums it up. And last but not least, end it with the Ravagers Zero. Howard Menke, Ian Churchill, the artwork in this is very good. Basically, this tells the story of the relationship between Terra and Beast Boy, and also does how Beast Boy became what he is and why he looks red and everything like that. Very intense in the in the hive, and Harvest is changing them and things like that. Beast Boy at first, before he comes off just really timid, like, everybody else around him is just like, get out of my way, kid. You red freak, and just punches him around, and it's just like, almost to the point you feel sorry for Garfield. He's like, and you're like, Garfield, stand up for yourself, man. Until later on, where we see Terra, who's been sticking up for Garfield. She's kind of like his big sister in this, and when she gets nearly beaten up by A couple of other individuals that are part of the 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 groups of Harvest. Beast Boy finds like, look, that's it, enough of this, and then he turns into a tiger and he just attacks the guys, and then you just see him start morphing into other animals. You start seeing him change into this giant mammoth, and he just smashes this guy into the wall, bam, and it was like, oh yeah, and it was really good because he was like, never again will I be timid and scared anymore. But pretty much that's pretty much, and then you see Harvest laughing, and it's like, if my Ravagers are as dangerous as these two are, I'm gonna rule the world. And I was like, oh. But yeah, this was good. I do like the relationship between um, Garfield and Tara. It was good. It is like a brotherly sister love, but it was good. Very intense. Howard Menke did do a good job on this. Very good. Okay, so that's it, guys. Rambled on enough. Hope you guys are still with me as always. Um, it's been a real twist, and so far I won't say these Zero issues have been bad. You know, they've been pretty decent. Um, but some of the characters I don't think we need to be telling origins of, like Batman. You know, somebody like that. I'm wondering what Wonder Woman Zero is gonna be and Superman Zero is gonna be. I'm hoping it's not an origin. You know, just tell something before they, or something like that. You know, just something. But other than that, I'll catch you guys on a flip flop as always. This is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned, keep it real, subscribe. Catch me on Facebook. Catch me on Twitter. You know, you name it. Um, as you know, and this is Mount Vernon Kid, student of Blue Goblin. Take care. And I'll see you guys next week, God willing.